Every single Friday, I block off the whole day for administrative work for the firm and for myself because when I'm going into the weekend, if it's my weekend with the kids, I got to have stuff ready to go. If it's my weekend without the kids, I want to be taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of for the following week while I have this free time and the availability to do it without dragging a 4-year-old through Aldi. However, every Friday without fail, about 1:30 in the afternoon after the lunch hour is over, I inevitably get a slew of emails from clients, phone calls from opposing counsel, text messages from my ex, things popping up from my parents, all about the chaos and the drama of weekend parenting exchange time. Why? Because too many people are out here co-parenting without a system, with too high of expectations for their former spouse, with all of these rules and demands and things that they've written in their own heads about how this phase of your life is supposed to go. And it produces chaos, drama, and all the things. I'm Taylor Wins, divorce attorney, divorced mom of four, and I help people experience divorce differently than they ever thought possible. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about common issues that come up when you're exchanging or heading into the weekend with kids. And then I want to talk to you about the things I would have done way differently from the start to limit the chaos and the drama that Fridays inevitably bring. First of all, what are some of the common issues that I see come up? Number one, for people that have children under school age who aren't in daycare, a lot of times that requires that there's an exchange between parents that happens on Friday afternoons. So that means somebody's got to either pick the kid up or drop the kid off to the other parent. And oftentimes that creates a one on one interaction between the parents and boom, conflict. There's a recipe for conflict right there. You need to limit your exchanges between parents. They're just the less the better for most people that are involved in a co parenting situation. So that one comes up. We've got this one on one parenting time exchange, which means somebody could be late, somebody could be early, somebody could forget something and have to turn around. There are all these things that could go wrong with that exchange between the parents on the Friday afternoon. Another thing that frequently comes up is the kids get sent to school by one parent, but they're going home with the other parent. And the parent that sent the kids to school to end their parenting time forgets to pack, the tennis shoes for the cross country meet, the hockey bag, the soccer stuff, the costume for the performance, the piano books, whatever the item is, they forget to send it over. Or when my kids were really, really little, they had comfort objects. And sometimes I would forget to put them in their backpacks, right, to go to school. And then so they could have them at night at their dad's house, or their dad would forget to return them to me. And then we've got conflict about whose fault is it that the 6-year old doesn't have the blanket that they go to bed with at night. Another thing we see is that people forgot to communicate certain things that might be happening over the weekend to the other parent. Hopefully, that's not sports and activities because you and your co parent should both have equal access to the Team Snap app and the school events calendar, the play information, whatever, that should already be resolved, hopefully, and shouldn't be something that keeps coming up weekend after weekend after weekend. But things that do come up that people forget to inform the other parent about typically are special events. So, Susie's got a birthday party for the third graders, and your child was invited, and you forgot to tell the other parent or send the invitation home with the child to the other parent so that the other parent knows that there's this birthday party. And then if you forgot to do that and they find out, of course, what didn't happen, nobody got a gift for Susie. And then we've got some disagreement, maybe if that's not delineated, who's paying for the gifts, about who should have bought it and what should have happened with that. And so that can be very, something that produces a lot of conflict as well. And so those are some of the three big things that I see every single week coming up. Emails from opposing counsel. Your client has been late to every exchange. If they're late, my client's going to turn around, and keep the child or what have you. Or clients calling me, or the things we talk about with our friends, right? About what happened on Friday morning and whatever with the kids. So they're really common issues. But the good news is that I think a lot of them are resolvable. And so here's what I would do if I had to do it all over again and I was starting my co-parenting journey fresh. First First of all, I would have every single exchange possible happen at school or daycare. There was a time where my kids weren't in school and they weren't in daycare, and we had to exchange at the door with one person coming in the house, which is always really uncomfortable, or pulling up in the driveway and we're meeting in a parking lot somewhere and exchanging the kids, and it is not worth it. 99% of arguments that I've ever had in front of my children with my co-parent happened at a face-to-face exchange. They don't need to happen. You will eliminate so much conflict in your life if you stop interacting face to face with your co-parent at exchange time, because inevitably somebody's going to say something snarky when you forgot the backpack or the lunch pail or their ice pack or the thermos or whatever, and we're going to have drama, and we don't need it. So the thing I would do that I think is, and that I have done, that I think has made the biggest difference in my co-parenting relationship, is cutting all of those face-to-face exchanges. Well, Taylor, what if my kids don't go to school or daycare? Put them in it. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Figure out some way where you are dropping the child off, maybe in the morning at school or daycare, and then you're picking the child, the other parent is picking the child up later when you're not there. And it's just a natural transition point. Your kids don't have to say goodbye to you in front of the other parent. There's nobody getting in the other person's car to buckle the child in. All that is done, it's cut. It is a way smoother thing. I do still have one child who is not school age, who goes to preschool, but he doesn't go on Fridays. So then, when there is an exchange on a Friday where my kiddos are going to go with their other parent for the weekend, I actually have my mother drop my son off at school so that he can be picked up. She waits there and he can be picked up. Or my ex husband can go get our 4-year old from my mom's house, and I'm not there and I don't have to be involved whatsoever with that weekend exchange. The other issue that we talked about was one parent forgetting something that the other parent needs to have for the parenting time. And I'm going to tell you to expect your co-parent to forget all of the things. Do not expect them to remember anything. Do not expect them to modify their behavior because of you. Just expect that they're not going to get you whatever it is that you need. So in that moment that you need it, you need to have a backup plan. So if your kid plays soccer, have your own pair of soccer cleats at your house. Get your own swimsuits, have an extra lunch pail, have extra ice packs. Act like your child lives at your house full time, because there will be many a time over the years where even the most perfect planful parent will forget to send something. And so you need to have a backup just in case that happens. I know in my situation, if I ever forget something, my co parent is screwed because I travel out of state for work like 2 times a quarter. So if you need something, I'm not there to get it to you. And so you need to have a plan about what you're going to do. Now, having said that, there are definitely occasions where you're not going to have two of everything because it would be ridiculous. My kids play hockey, there's 4 of them. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars in gear every single year for them to play hockey. Used skates can be a couple $100, a helmet's a couple $100, a stick's $100. And so it's not feasible to have a set of everything at home for each of us. So our hockey equipment has kind of like a home base, which is at my house. And then I do send it every time that the kids have a practice or a game that's on my co parent's time. That means my children are responsible for dragging their hockey bag into school, having it stored in the office until the end of the day. And then they are responsible for going to pick up that bag and getting it outside to their dad's car when they get picked up. Sometimes I know in advance, like most of us on the Team Snap app or whatever app your kid uses, that there's going to be a game or a practice or something that's not going to be on your time. And so then some other solutions that I have found that work for me and for my family system is to drop the bag off at the door of my co-parents' house when they're not there, and let them know that it's there in a place where it's not going to get like taken or whatever. I'll take it to my mother's house so it can be picked up. And sometimes I plan a couple of days in advance. If I know they're going over to their dad's house on a Friday and we don't need the bag after Wednesday, sometimes I'll send the bag on Wednesday when I'm done with it and it's just there, and we don't have to worry about a 6-year-old lugging a hockey bag through school that weekend, right? So that's a solution that's worked super, super well for me. Is forgetting to inform your co-parent of major events that are happening on that weekend. And a solution I would suggest for that is make sure that everybody gets on the Our Family Wizard app. Yes, you can try to verbally tell your co-parent about a special event, or you can auditorily hear about a special event. Maybe you can text each other a picture of the invitation. Maybe you send an email, but When you're communicating by a bunch of different channels, things get lost really quickly. Like, did I say it? Did I text it? Did I email it? And it's too much. So, what I recommend is that you get on Our Family Wizard and you keep all of your information streamlined in one place. And where there's a special event where there doesn't really need to be discussion about it, just pop it on the calendar and the other person would be notified on their app on their phone that there's an event that's come up, and then they can take responsibility of it from there. Am I advocating for you putting every single thing that happens in your child's life on that calendar and becoming your co-parent secretary? No, I'm absolutely not. But I'm saying where on 3 weeks before a birthday party, you get the invitation that came home in a backpack, just pop it in there and then that person can be notified, and then that's no longer your responsibility because you've shared the information that needs to be shared. If you don't have a protocol about who buys gifts, then, talk to them about who's buying the gift in the app in one strand so it's all centralized in one place. But if you do have something figured out about who gets gifts, then abide by that, or be the bigger person, just buy the gift and send it over there, right? And be done with it that way. And that will alleviate so much of those Friday scaries when there's the exchanges that are taking place on Friday, and give you such a peace of mind. If you found value, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with somebody that can use it.